As a child, we all long for a hero. As a society as a whole, we search for that leader that can be our hero. But as we mature and as we grow, it dawned on us that the hero is inside every one of us. And in the world's social media, we all start at zero. And slowly we search deep within ourselves to find who we are. And we have that moment of truth where we embrace that the hero that we've been searching for has been there all along. It is living deep inside of every one of us. And we start embracing that journey and we become that hero that we search for.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to episode 95 of Zero to Hero, presented by J29 Creative Group. Our next guest is one of the founders of the dirtiest companies I have ever come across in my life. Her name is Lauren Cain, and she is the founder of Elm Dirt. So let's go ahead and bring her in. Lauren, how are you this morning?
Great. Thanks for having me on. I'm really excited to be here.
Oh, my pleasure. Absolutely. I fell in love with your branding the first time that I saw it. The more I researched your company, the more I was falling in love with it and just how awesome you guys are. And I want everybody to know that that was not a shot at you, right? This is a real dirty company. I mean, that's kind of what we're focused on. So what is Elm Dirt? What do you guys do there?
Yeah, so we are a worm farm and we also make organic fertilizer. So he's not wrong. We sit there, we play in dirt and worms. And I always get that question of, wait, you actually touch worms? And I started the company in 2020. Yes, best timing ever. In January 2020, I was sitting there looking at my 6-month-old daughter who was eating fistfuls of dirt out of my own backyard. And I was worried about what weed killer, what fertilizer, what we just sprayed, and what she was actually eating. And she'd do it out of flower pots and the same thing. And I knew there had to be a better way. And so that's where Elm Dirt was born. I'd heard of worm composting from my husband's family who had a worm farmer back in the 1980s. And I knew I wanted to do it on a personal level. But in January 2020, I was like, I have to share this with more people. And I had this whole plan to do farmers markets, in-person sustainability meetings and everything. And of course, that blew up in my face. So, so we transitioned to online sales, which we have a background in, and started selling more and more worms. And what we've learned is that worms, composting worms and worm castings, their poop, actually sell out every year in the country because it's just so good for our soil. And so my husband and I both are chemical engineers. We went on this kind of mission to figure out how we could share worm castings with more people who didn't want to raise worms in their own house, didn't want to deal with it. And so that's where I developed the formulas for our organic fertilizer in 2021. And from there, it just kind of took off. And everybody's been astounded by the success they have with growing with our products.
Yeah, probably the best and the worst time, right? 2020 there. I feel like a lot of people were home and kind of looking at their gardens and their plants and the plants they had around their house and noticed that maybe they were looking a little bit sad. So put a little effort into it. I'm sure people were out there doing some research. So yeah, tough time for sure when you're expecting to go with one model, but kudos to you for being able to pivot, right? And hey, everybody's online looking for this stuff. Let's throw it up there. So
yeah. We always say Elm Dirt was kind of this genesis of using every single part of our backgrounds. And there isn't a single thing we haven't done in our entire life that hasn't brought us to this moment, which is pretty cool.
I love it. So tell me a little bit about how the process actually works and what makes it different, right? I mean, obviously there's a ton of products that are out there at Lowe's, Home Depot, right? Grass pad, all those different things. What is it about Elm Dirt that makes it special?
So we're focused on organic, but beyond just organic, we have this holistic way of looking at everything where we use nature's own strengths to bring it all together into a single product. So our main sellers are plant juice, and that's made of microbes that include bacteria and fungi that we breed ourselves that are natural in healthy soils. We add in worm castings and kelp and all sorts of other natural ingredients that the microbes then pre-eat. And so once it's ready to go and it makes it into your garden, those microbes really go to work. And the cool part about microbe fertilizers is they kind of latch on to plant roots. So they're staying where they're effective and they're continuing to work. They're pulling nitrogen from the air and they're continuing to feed plants. And they really got some huge benefits that replace synthetic fertilizers, half of which end up in our water systems anyways. And we all need a better way of fertilizing our plants.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, as somebody that used to eat mud pies as a child, I definitely wish there was more Elm Dirt. Maybe there'd be less issues today than there was 30 years ago when it was just off the soil. I have to ask you this. So I was talking to my 6-year-old daughter this morning, and I let her know that I was going to be talking with you today and a little bit about what you do. And I asked her what question I should ask, and she wanted to know, do worms pee as well, or is it all come out in one solid casting there?
It's all in one solid casting.
I love it. I'll let her know. She'll be rest assured tonight that it all just comes out in one thing. I'm sure she'll have follow-up questions.
Yeah, just welcome anytime. Our kids helped us build Elm Dirt from the beginning. That's actually what Elm stands for, is Emma, Logan, and Mama.
Oh, I love that. That's so cool. That's awesome. The stories behind the branding, always J29 is based off of a Bible verse. A lot of people don't know that, Jeremiah 29:11, right? So yeah, I love the little hidden stories behind branding. That's so cool.
It's so great, and it helps keep everything going. Like, exactly why you're doing it, and it's incredible to share that with other people, because then they can connect with you of like, hey, I believe in the same things.
I love that. Well, let's get into it here, Lauren. So putting Elm Dirt aside, I know that's kind of hard to do. That's what you guys have been living and breathing and playing with for the last 3 years. But putting that aside, putting the business aside and kind of everything else, who is Lauren Cain? Give us the elevator pitch about who you are.
I am someone who is extremely into like research and just figuring out how things work. That's how I ended up as a chemical engineer, and I'm an extremely determined person too. We always laugh. I have a 4-year-old daughter, and she is the spitting image of me. And my husband's always like, that right there, that is why you are who you are. Is I am doggedly determined to figure out how things work and then make a better way of doing it. And it's been a fun process and led me into all sorts of different pathways.
That is fantastic. I have to ask you, is your son a spitting image of your husband as well, or did it kind of stop?
He is a spitting image of my husband. He's goofy, loves to make people laugh. They look alike too, and my daughter looks exactly like me. So we made mini replicas.
That's so funny. That's so funny how that works as well. So you guys started this company a few years ago. You've been kind of up and running, but when you started all your social media for Elm Dirt, we had 0 followers, 0 likes, 0 shares, 0 posts, right? So tell us a little bit about the journey that you guys have had on social media from starting from 0 to where you're at now.
Yeah, that's been quite a journey. I think I mentioned we have a background in e-commerce, and a lot of that has been in Facebook advertising. And so that's kind of where we started our journey, is trying to tell stories via short videos on Facebook advertising. And then it kind of branched out from there. We've listened to a lot of what our customers have said and started sharing more stuff of like how to use our products, how things work, or like if you send us a message on either it's a comment or a message or any way on social media, we're going to be responding to it in some way, whether that's making blog posts or how-tos or videos on anything that people reach out for. Because it's really been kind of a blessing of just like getting to know people and reaching out to our customers and really hearing their stories too, because they're awesome.
Yeah, no, you guys do a great job of resharing those as well. Kind of looking through your stuff there, you have a great customer base that is enthusiastic about what you guys are providing, right? And sharing testimonials in video form, which is kind of hard to get people to do nowadays for some reason. But no, it's absolutely incredible. And I love that you went that video route. So what was it that made you make the decision to go with kind of a short form video explanation versus just responding to them with text?
It's much easier to like show something, and I mean, I'm a very visual person. I still have to see things written, and I'm more likely to type things out on email. But when I'm learning something, it's usually in video, and that's kind of where we've just listened to like how we actually shop and figured out, okay, if this is something that I'm interested in, maybe other people would be too. And then you kind of get that face-to-face thing. We've done a couple of videos recently where we've talked about how we've grown since 2020 to now, and that whole development of the manufacturing process and the worm composting. And people really just enjoy seeing the background of like what we're doing and how we're doing it, because it is kind of an unusual story, and then people are like, worm farm, what do you do?
Yeah, let me see it. Well, yeah, I think right when you guys started, I think the whole world shifted how it started shopping, right? And a lot of that is one video, right? We're taking in a lot of short and long form video, right? But the second thing is I think people really want to know the story behind the brand now, which really before we wanted products, right? We wanted services, we wanted products. We didn't really care who was behind it, but somewhere around COVID, it seemed like it clicked to now we want to know who's making dirt, right?
And where is it made, and how is it
Right.
made, and especially to have it local. And I think that's also what brings some of our customers to be so vocal about their support. Not only can they see it works, because that's the most important part, but it's this local brand that they know and they can actually go visit, and it's here. Everything, including our bottles, are made here in the United States. Most of it's made here in Missouri, so
I love it.
it's not far away. But we always get asked, like, are your customers, like, you're paying them? You have to be paying them. And it's no, they're just very excited about what we're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. They are believers for sure, and they're enthusiastic in their belief, which is absolutely incredible. So you said people can come visit. Do you guys do tours, or how is it that people can come visit?
Yeah, we'll do larger tours. We've done a lot of master gardener tours, some master naturalist tours. And we prefer larger groups of like 20, 25 people, and we'll bring them through, which is kind of fun. And we've done some virtual tours too, where we will film a video and like take people through the warehouse. But it's not that large, so we can't fit like 100 people in there.
Yeah.
And that's one of our goals eventually to get to, is to have a tour facility where people can walk through and really kind of touch the worms and kind of get in there and see what we're doing. And I know not everybody wants to touch them, but we've shown a few people who are like, I don't want to touch worms, but this is really cool. I want to see it. And they still think it's pretty fascinating.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's a great way to take an online community and really bring it home, right? And turn that into in-person relationships. So that is really cool, right? And that's one of the products that we can get from social media, right? We can build this following, and then we can actually invite them out and have them check out what you're doing in person. So very, very cool. Now, Lauren, every superhero has a defining moment. What do you think yours is when it comes to not only your career, but your life as well?
There have been a couple defining moments, to be honest. And there's not always an easy journey on entrepreneurship or even along the way of life. But one of my probably most defining moments was right when I was going into college to study chemical engineering. I'm standing beside my husband, which I met my husband when I was 8 years old. So I've known him for
Wow.
a long time.
Wow, that's incredible.
We went to school together from grade 6 to senior year in high school. And then we both studied chemical engineering together. But we're standing right next to each other, signing up for classes at KU. And we've been through the same math classes. We've taken the same tests. We both were A+ students in high school. We'd taken the AP test, we take the ACT, and there was a couple points difference, but we're standing there in front of the guy who's like, you are going to go into honors math and you are not going to go into honors math. And we're sitting there right next to each other. And he turns to my husband and goes, you can go ahead. You can take honors calculus too, going straight into college as a freshman. And he turns to me and he goes, I think you haven't had calculus. So I think you need to retake Calc 1. And I looked at him and I go, nope.
Yeah.
So I couldn't get the approval to go into honors. I went ahead, I ignored what he said, and I was like, I am way better at math than people anticipate, and I'm way better at things that nobody else knows. And that's kind of just taught me to trust myself
Yeah.
And that was one of the best decisions, to ignore what he said and just go on and do my own thing. And it ended up really well for me. And I've kind of taken that in stride and applied it to other areas of like, I need to trust myself and I need to trust my own abilities. And it's helped me along the way to realize I don't need to listen to other people.
Yeah, absolutely. Knowing what you're good at and then trusting yourself. I mean, I couldn't. Amazing. I mean, that's so good, right? I mean, and it's so simple when you say it, right? But putting it into action is far, far more complicated than just spitting it out, right?
It is so much harder to put it into action. And there's a bunch of events after we got into entrepreneurship and started Elm Dirt, there's been a bunch of times when people have come in and they were like, this idea, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, oh, great. This sounds like a good idea. I trust you. Okay, let's do that. And then it's like, oh, no, I should trust myself. This is the way I should go. And I shouldn't rely on someone else coming in from the outside telling me this is the way it should be. And it's hard. Time and time again, you have to remind yourself that trust yourself. You've got this.
Yeah, 100%. Something that I always have to remind myself is my brain is a computer, right? And if there's negative stuff going in there, negative stuff is going to come out the other side and really 10 times, right, in force versus that positive thought, right? And it almost takes 10 of those to counteract that one negative, right? So
it really
definitely
does,
keep putting it in there, man. You know, that's probably one of the biggest lessons that I try to teach my kids, right? Is get rid of this negativity, right? Keep it positive, you know, and you'll eventually get there. So super powerful. I love that. I love that. Now, heroes have attributes, so do villains, right? What are the attributes that you feel really define what a hero is?
I think the heroes are authentic. They aren't afraid to let their weaknesses show, but they also stick to what is in their heart. I mean, they, like I was just mentioning, they trust in themselves. They don't always they always need their friends there to kind of like boost them up and remind them, hey, you got this. But they are authentic. They realize that sometimes they need help, and then they stick true to what is in their heart, their core values, and they kind of go with it. And villains are always kind of out there for their own gain. And so that's a little bit of the difference. Is like heroes, they have this thing, but they're not they're bringing people in to help them on to their core values, whereas villains are kind of excluding people and kicking people out and after something that's not really a core value.
Yeah. That's probably one of the better explanations I've heard of villainy, right? Is kind of self-serving, right? And then, yeah, absolutely, the greater good, right, for heroes. That is absolutely true and perfect, 100%. Now, if you had to pick a superhero that best related to Lauren Cain, who would that be? And tell us a couple reasons why.
Yeah, so I am a huge Marvel fan.
Love it. I love it.
My husband and I watch all the Avengers and everything, and I always gravitate to the superheroes that don't necessarily have special powers.
Yeah.
And they get there through hard work. And so a couple that kind of stand out to me in Avengers has always been Black Widow and Hawkeye. They are both. They don't really have special powers, but they're super awesome in their own talents and their own abilities. And to see them up there performing with people who can stop bullets and stuff, you know, that's really awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Who wins in a fight, Black Widow or Hawkeye?
Probably Hawkeye.
You think? Oh man, I don't know. I think I have to go Black Widow on that one. She's incredible, man.
Yeah, she really is. It's a tough pick though.
Yeah, it is. It is tough for sure. No, that's fine. I love that, and I love the name, right? Black Widow, and we're Elm Dirt. So I mean, that's right on brand with where you're going there. So yeah. I love it. Well, Lauren, thank you for coming on the show. How can people keep up with you? How can they try the product out? How can they see what's going on with it? Where can they find you guys?
Yeah, visit us, elmdirt.com. We're also amazon.com. Feel free to reach out to us. We're on Instagram and Facebook at Elm Dirt. We're also on LinkedIn. So come mention Elm Dirt and we'll come talk to you guys, comment, message us, send us an email, support@elmdirt.com, and we'll be there.
I love it. And they are responsive, right? So if you reach out, they will respond to you. Feel free to ask questions. They'll make a video probably in response to your question if you have any questions, which is awesome and easier to take in. So definitely check them out, give them a like, give them a follow. And, if you're a green thumb, get out there and try their products out. They've got a raving fan base. I don't think I've seen a single bad review about Elm Dirt out there, unless people just flat out don't know how to use it, right? Which is pretty hard. I haven't seen anything like that. It's the only thing I can imagine, right? So yeah, get out there, try it out, and help your plants out, man. I know my wife needs some for sure. We've got succulents that struggle around here, so we need to get some Elm Dirt. Yeah. Lauren, thank you again. You're absolutely awesome.
Thanks for having me. This has been great. Yeah, definitely come talk to us. We also do lawn care too, so it doesn't have to be anybody who's got green thumbs. Everybody else is invited too.
I need to check it out too then. Where neither one of us are good with the greenery, right? So we will be on the website for sure. Well, everybody out there, thanks for tuning in. Have a great day and get out there and check out Elm Dirt.
Hey, are we still live? Hey guys, we're still live. Hey guys, this is Kevin Kwok, founder of J29 Creative Group. So who are we? We're a marketing agency here in Kansas City. We're all about a holistic approach to marketing that builds your brand and nurtures online community. But to be honest with you, you guys don't care.